from Bitten Apple TV. Now we're here at New Jersey HorrorCon, and Alex, what's going on? Barker's Rules and the Fear. What's happening in these books here?
These are the first two books of the Meridian trilogy. They are about the Meridian Killers, an underground society of superhumans that think they're above the law, or at least last we checked, last they were heard of. The main character is Justin Barker. He is actually a renegade and a serial murderer who is one of the most powerful of all of them, and his victim is Melanie Greer, and she's a 16-year-old from North Dakota who is kidnapped, and the first book is her survival story, living in his grasp. The second book is about her mother, Deborah, chasing after Barker in efforts to rescue her, in a nutshell. And it all ends in the third book, which is forthcoming.
Oh my, okay. No, that wasn't, but now I'm just curious. Like, I mean, I won't lie, if I had superpowers, I'd be like, oh God, these humans. I think everyone has that thought. What kind of powers are we talking here that Barker seems to have that he's taking advantage of?
The effect I was going for was that it could be real. It's like a slight twist on reality, so he's very strong, he's very fast. The characters kind of notice he's a little bit too strong and too fast to really be their definition of human. We're not really shooting eye beams or, breathing fire or anything like that, but he definitely has advantages that are a little unfair.
Those humans, they always get so jealous so quickly. We're really getting tired of you guys. Now, in regards to like him becoming the killer, he kidnaps this girl. He's sort of like the protagonist and the antagonist kind of like rolled into one, and she's kind of his antagonist at the same time. Yeah, they're kind of like split down the middle for both roles against each other. What would you say is the most difficult task that Barker has to encounter, and then as well as for her and then her mom having to come find her?
Well, Barker is actually doing something out of character in this book. Usually he'll take a person very briefly and they'll be dead within a day or so after he's had his way with them. He is keeping this girl for the span of an entire book. He doesn't always quite know the reason why, and the reader isn't really kind of let in on why until much later in the series. All is revealed at the end of the third book, but his challenge is kind of figuring out what the heck he's doing and what a hot mess he is, to say the least. Melanie's struggle, of course, is survival, with being trapped, with experiencing loss, with experiencing pain and agony and anguish and all that. Fear, she had a very safe life. Now she does not. Now she's constantly looking over her shoulder. Deborah is much the same. Deborah's life has been, that's the mother, her life has been destroyed at the loss of her child, and now she too is, although she's outside the situation, she's also kind of being tormented by it as it goes on, and that was sort of a perspective I really wanted to capture.
Hey, wow, okay. All realistic things for people to relate to, including the killer, because at some point we all look at ourselves in the mirror and go, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing today?
Relate to them.
So in regards to as an author, what would you, or who would you say is, I guess, your biggest writing influences that you may not take from them, but they did influence you maybe in your style of writing or maybe just as a reader in general?
I'm a very big Victor Hugo fan, French author, when it comes to historical writers. Recently, for this series, I was a very big fan of John Fowles, I think his name is, who wrote The Collector, and Stephen King, who wrote Misery. Of course, Stephen King. He was, but he really did inspire me in various ways, not only in his fiction writing, but in many of his essays about writing. Really helped me through many stages of the process in developing characters and making it realistic and just, learning how to conquer yourself and do what you've set out to do as an artist.
So now, this is true because I do write myself. The main character is never the author's favorite character. It's always like Tina from like down the block, that one friend from French class. It's someone so random and they may not be consistent. Whom would you say is your favorite character in the books?
Oh boy. Well, I actually am a pretty big Barker fan, on and off, but there's some characters that show up in book 2 that are at first hidden from the reader that are pretty fun and mysterious. One of them is named Victoria. She's pretty cool. She shows up in book 2, so yeah, she's probably a favorite.
No, I love asking that question just because whenever someone's reading a story and you're like, oh, it has to be this person, you're like, no, the writer never likes the main character. The story is about the main character, but that's never their favorite. And also, my question to you would be, what aspect of yourself did you find that you put into your books? Because as a writer, as an artist, you always put a piece of yourself in your work. It's just how it works. What would you say, what aspect of yourself? Is it the abilities? Maybe you're not human and we're just discovering this now. Please don't hunt me down later.
I've been signing all day. This is in no way a reflection of how I spend my off hours. I don't know how many of them believe me, though. I would definitely say that there's a strong family connection between the characters of Melanie and Deborah, looking at being subjected to the same situation from one end or the other. There's a very strong family and compassionate connection there, which I have a very close relationship with my family members, so I definitely channeled that to try and make the reader understand what these two characters were going through. I don't relate to Barker much, but I do delve into his history and how he came to be what he is. And I think I poured a little bit of myself into him in that respect. Things that he does to put himself over the edge, I try to do the opposite. Or I have done the opposite, and I make him do what I'm glad I did not do when I was having a hard time.
No, I appreciate the answers, just because when you put that aspect of yourself into your characters, it really changes everything. I really appreciate the work that you have here. And when's the next book coming out?
Oh, it does not have a release date yet. It's currently in drafting, but I'm shooting for next year.
Okay, we are content with that. So for those who are like, I have to get the first book, I have to get the second book, while they read that until the next book comes out, where can they go find it?
I'm available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Millions, any other bookstore, any bookstore. Barker's Rules is available at Walmart. They're all available online. They're not stocked yet, but here's hoping that'll change. But yeah, Amazon is the primary hub, and they're also available through the Seven Horns author store during the festival. So.
Okay, and do you have an Instagram or anything that they can link you to as well?
I do. Alec Pangia -author is my Facebook account, and I do a live stream every Tuesday night. And I'm getting active on the Instagram account. We're trying to start doing weekly Instagram streams as well.
Make sure you guys come check this out. Get this book and discover different aspects of yourself that you probably didn't realize even existed. Thank you so much. I think this is absolutely great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.